first reasons I think people should vote for me is when you can get your oldest son to come to an election event. That means you're doing something right. I mean, even if everything else is going wrong, you can feel like something's really going right. And Nick's a great kid. Yesterday, his developmentally disabled brother had some accidents at school, and Nick jumped in because I had some things at work and Mark was traveling, so it's nice to have a good kid. But all of you know me, so I think the big thing about the county is it's a $4 billion budget for our county. There's 1.8 million residents. What is it for District 5? I think it's about 390,000
That's huge.
residents. Yeah, it's going to end up being the biggest district going forward. And about 1.6 billion is the hospital budget. And it's huge. So I think the big thing that's going on right now is the state, which everybody knows is having so many problems, is trying to do what they call realignment, move more of the services and responsibilities to the county without necessarily moving a lot of money to do it. So they're moving, maybe everybody knows, they're moving the nonviolent criminals. So, you know, Elmwood used to be a couple days stay because it was a county hospital. Now it's going to be anywhere from a couple days to 3 years stay for nonviolent criminals. So that's going to change everything. They're moving all the juveniles that have been at the state level, they're moving those down to the county. So there's just a lot of change going on. And then with healthcare reform, there are going to be a lot more people with healthcare and not clear how much more money there'll be. So I think most of you know I've spent a lot of time in hospitals. We had a child in UCSF for a total of 8 months between his 2 stays. So we know it intimately. And now I run the program that Ron's chair of that tries to make sure every child in this county has health coverage, and we're at about 96%, and have been holding that for a few years. What you learn is if everyone can have health care, they can be a lot more proactive, and the reduction in emergency room visits is very telling that it cuts the cost that way. But I get along with every one of the supervisors. I know them all really well in other projects. There are 2 other people running, both men. Maybe a key point for many people is if a woman is not elected to this seat, it'll be the first time in 37 years there won't be a woman on the board. Which, you know, things have changed a lot, but there's still, I think, the issue of when you're a certain background, that you push the issues that are important to you. And so the issues of social justice, health for all are really important to me. But I think I also, from my time at Applied Materials for 20 years, have a really good understanding of budgeting and finance. I just have a very quick mind for numbers. Ron caught me once this week with an incorrect number, but it's pretty unusual that I just can't do it right off the top of my head, because at Applied Materials, finance was critical. It was just the name of the game everywhere. Everything was audited, checked. We all were financially responsible. So I'm the only candidate that has 20 years of business experience, 4 years of nonprofit experience, as well as government experience. So that's a pretty good combination to have. But the competition's really tough. It's Joe Simidian, and is there anybody in here that maybe doesn't know who Joe? I mean, almost everybody knows who Joe Simidian is. So I have to really get out there and get my name out, because it'll be a June vote. There'll be a June, and then if no one gets 50%, it goes on to November. But the June vote will be critical.
Who's the third person?
Barry Chang. Mary is very worried about the quarry. I mean, he's known for that being his big concern, is the quarry. And he's on the council.
Cupertino.
No, Cupertino. Yeah, but I mean, he's often known as a one-issue person. And so I don't think he's well-known outside
Is
of
he the guy who
Cupertino.
actually dressed down Steve Jobs at the Cupertino
Think so.
City Council meeting?
I think so, yeah,
Yeah.
he's pretty much known
Okay,
as
well, I think that's on your ad.
I haven't watched that tape yet. I
You should
guess
watch
I
it.
should, because I heard it's really fun to watch. He
Yeah.
said something, Steve Jobs said, well, then we'll just leave.
Yeah,
if you
I mean,
treat-
he
you know.
brought up the quarry and he brought up his issues, and Steve Jobs said, well, I lived right down the street from that, and it was fine, there was no problem back in the 60s, and if there's an issue, it's an issue you have to settle. He's like, why are you bringing this up?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's,
One issue, first.
so I'm the only female running, and then there's 2 men. And, you know, the campaigns usually, they spend about $250,000 on the primary. I don't know how many of you know Otto. I went to Otto Lee. I went to a retire his dead party from his campaign over a year ago. And he raised $300,000, but he spent $500,000.
Oh my God.
So he's still trying
You
to,
don't do that.
no, you know, I mean, he's still trying to raise money. I felt like I was there and a very kind person to be giving on a campaign that was,
Done.
yeah, almost 2 years ago, I guess.
I've been telling people wrong. I thought there was 2, I thought this is a partisan position, it's not?